Well, we're delighted to be joined on Off the Ball Saturday here on News Talk by the Ireland and Connacht Centre, Bundee Aki. Bundee, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, George.
Hope you're well, Bundee. How has it been for you the last few months? Lockdown. Andy Friend, your coach at Connacht, says you're in unbelievable shape. How have you managed to get in unbelievable shape over the last few months, Bundee?
I wouldn't say unbelievable. I'm in all good shape. No, lockdown's been good. Given time to refreshing the body, work on little niggles here and there to making sure it's all right, and then really just doing a bit of running and a bit of gym every day. And yeah, it was nice to use the lockdown as a sort of a break and rest to refreshen up.
And spending time with your family as well, Bundee?
Exactly, yeah, my family, yeah, sorry.
And like it can be difficult as well, not only for just like a normal citizen, but a sports person with this unexpected break in sporting activity to cope mentally just as much as physically. So did you engage in any techniques mentally? Did you find that side of it easy? Did you keep yourself occupied with the brain?
I think it was like, I think the whole lockdown, just you don't realise how tired you were from all the rugby and trainings that was going on. This lockdown period has actually sort of made me rest a bit more and get the body recovered a bit more. And like, obviously, like me as a person, like me personally, I realised that I didn't realise how tired I was or how exhausted I was, and the lockdown helped loads. And then during the lockdown, halfway through, I just felt so refreshed and ready to go, and just got to a point where I just got too bored of doing training and doing nothing. I just really wanted to get back into it and, try and find ways to keep myself occupied and do little bits and pieces here and there. And I enjoyed it.
Was it a bit of DIY, Bundee? Was it a bit of Netflix?
I watched a lot of Netflix, a lot of gaming. And yeah, it was enjoyable.
Anything in particular that you could recommend?
On Netflix?
Yeah.
What have I been watching? I caught up on Peaky Blinders. I know it's been an old one, but that was my first time catching up on it, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. As well as Ozark. It's just all the old Netflix series that a lot of people were talking about that I haven't had time to watch, and I had a load of time to watch, so got through all of it really and binge watched it. So yeah. Good
man. The training, how has training been different during the time when we've been living through this pandemic for you, Bundee? Obviously at the start probably non-contact training. What's the vibe been like in sessions?
Sorry, what's the vibe like again, sorry?
In sessions, training sessions, how has training been different, say, before the lockdown? Are you back to where you were? Are you doing exactly the same drills as you were before the lockdown?
It's like, obviously the first few weeks was a lot of small groups getting integrated into a medium-sized group and then into a full team integration. Training has gone back to somewhat normal. We still have a lot of social distancing on gym-wise and making sure we're cleaning and sanitizing everything that we are working on and stuff like that. But it is somewhat normal at the moment. But it's exciting because it's just exciting to touch a rugby ball again and be able to throw the rugby ball around with the lads that you play with. So and some new faces, so which is good.
Has the COVID-19 testing been vigorous?
Sorry, say it again.
Has the COVID-19 testing been vigorous, Bundee?
I was very worried about the swab up the nostrils, which I wasn't a big fan of. But lucky enough, it was just the swabbing down the throat area, and which was okay. I didn't mind that. But yeah, it was good to know that everyone came across very well, and everyone was nice and healthy and which was a big plus. Now that all the testing's done, and I think we've got a few more testing to do, and then hopefully be able to play next week and with the green light to go.
Do you feel comfortable, Bundee, playing in a sport that requires such physical engagement during this time?
Sorry, I missed you again there.
Are you comfortable, Bundee, playing in a sport that needs such physical engagement that rugby does at this period of time?
Yes, I am very comfortable, yeah. I am.
And there's no fear or anything about any players that might be asymptomatic. You sense from what you've experienced that the testing is very rigorous and everything will be good to go.
Yeah, I think I have full trust in testing that's been going and how everyone's been doing well, keeping their distance. I have trust in everyone individually doing their parts and making sure they're washing their hands thoroughly and every day. I have full confidence in everyone really, and with the testing results that came back, which is very good. And I think I'm just one of most of the players that want to play. Is just want to get out there and be able to put some sports on telly and be able to put some smile on people's faces again. Really.
Yeah, and first up it's Ulster at Lansdowne Road. We got the interprovincial series almost to welcome us back. You must be bursting to get out there against Ulster. Regardless
of what team that we will be playing, I'm just excited to try and get out there and play. Really, like the feeling of putting on a Connacht jersey again and running out with the teammates is going to be something special. And obviously people's lives and health and safety are our first priority and stuff like that. And for us to be able to get this opportunity to play again for Samoa is going to be something special. I think it's going to be something special, really, yeah.
Absolutely, and it'd be great for the fans out in the West watching you on TV. The Ireland schedule is going to be very busy between now and the end of the year, Bundee. But very important that we finish the Six Nations and we have this mini tournament for the future of the game, to safeguard its future. We need to get rugby back up and running again.
It's like I said, it's going to be very good to get these few games off first and see where we go from there, really. And I'm honestly looking forward if everything goes well, and hopefully all the internationals game go ahead as well. It's something that for people to smile. Like I said, a lot of people have been locked at home, been isolating, and not been able to watch, not much sport. And for us to be able to go out there and play rugby, provincially or internationally, I'm sure a lot of people will be delighted to see it happen. So, yeah.
How have you found the transition, Bundee, from playing under Joe Schmidt to working with Andy Farrell?
It's been good. Both. I thoroughly enjoy Joe, and at the moment I'm thoroughly enjoying Faz. They're both great coaches, and I'm still learning as a player, and that's exactly what I'm doing at the moment. I'm enjoying the coaching stuff, and it's interesting to have Mike Katz as well, just as well as Foggy, and it's good to see a lot of new faces and good to see some old faces and coaching stuff. But I'm thoroughly enjoying Faz, and I enjoyed working under Joe as well. He was a great coach, so yeah.
Has there been much contact with the Ireland setup, like Zoom calls, remote chats in the last few months?
Has there been what, sorry?
Much contact with the Ireland setup in the last few months, like Zoom calls or remote chats?
No, we've been. I think what they've, which is good, is just I think we're all just trying to get into our provincials, making sure our provincials get out and play first. And obviously, if all that goes well, then everything else will fall into place. Obviously, just focus on provincial at the moment, knowing that. I think the schedule went out for the Six Nations, and it's something to look forward to, and hopefully everything goes well for these next 2 weeks.
Do you think there'll be a change in the style of play under Andy Farrell? Obviously, with any new coach, there's going to be a change in emphasis. Can you see a bit of a change? Will it possibly be a bit more expansive behind the scrum, Bundee?
Oh, there will be. It's all due time. It will all happen in time. And everyone knows, you just, first things first, I know everyone wants this expensive rugby and a lot of risk and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you got to get the results and you got to win. And that's what we're there for. That's what we're there to do, is there to win. And if everything falls us into place and it's time to do it, then you do it. You know what I mean? We're not told to. We're not told to not do this and not do that in the game. So I think it's first thing is at the moment is just making sure that we win games.
And obviously as well with the COVID-19 situation, Bundee, like when March feels like ages ago for so many people. Have you put the World Cup behind you now? Is it well in the rear-view mirror?
It's well behind me, but yeah, obviously it's still behind. It's still there, knowing. Me personally, and I always have that World Cup behind my head, knowing that there'll be games ahead of us, but I'll be focusing on the games. But knowing that, it's hard to explain. Actually, I wouldn't know how to explain it. It's just I would always have a World Cup behind my head. So yeah.
Does that mean that you're more determined than ever to get to France, Bundee?
I am determined to try and get to play games first before I even think about the World Cup. Hopefully, if the time arises then I'll try my best to get there and make sure get things right.
There's obviously less debate now, Bundee, about the residency rule, given it's 5 years. You've been with Connacht for many years. You won the Pro 12. You've given your all for Connacht and Ireland. Did the commentary around the residency rule ever upset you? Did it ever hurt you, Bundee?
No, it didn't hurt me at all. No, it's all people's opinion, and I'll just make sure I do what I need to do, and that's me playing good brand of rugby on the pitch, and that's all I need to worry about. Really, I wouldn't say that people's opinion affect me. No.
Were you aware of the commentary at the time?
You can't. You can't say no. It's always you see it, you hear it. But you can't let it affect you as a player. It's just everyone has the right for their own opinion, and that's their right. And if they want to say something they want to say, then by all means, I certainly have nothing against it. It's their opinion, not mine. I have my own people that I need to worry about, and there are certain people that have their opinions matter more than most, and that's just me.
One major news item during lockdown, Bundee, was the George Floyd tragedy and the expression of solidarity of sports stars around the Black Lives Matter movement. How did you feel, Bundee, when you were watching this unfold in the news?
Obviously, it is a big thing happening in the days that we live in at the moment. But I can't say anything about it. I know there are talks here in Connacht on how we're going to approach it for the next few weeks, but that's all I can say, really.
Would you personally take a knee before a game? Is it something that rugby should be possibly doing in your view?
I wouldn't be able to comment on that. It wouldn't be my place to say.
Okay. We've been speaking on Off the Ball this week to Cyrus Christie, the Republic of Ireland soccer player, who has detailed how when he came to Ireland for international games, he was the subject of racist abuse. Have you ever experienced racism, Bundee, in Ireland?
No, I haven't.
Okay. I think that obviously the more we speak about this, education will be key. And obviously the response from Connacht and from Ireland will surely be appropriate at the time. So the key thing for you, have you spoken to the likes of Robbie Henshaw, Gary Ringrose, Johnny Sexton? Have you been in touch with any of the lads in the last few months?
No, I've chatted to Robbie and Gary via text and via a call Robbie before, and I think everyone's just happy to get back to their training squads and excited to be able to play. Obviously, the lockdown gave them a lot of time to spend with their families and get their bodies right, which was really nice to see, and that was for myself as well. So, yeah.
And obviously we're waiting to find out with Connacht if you'll be in the European Cup next year. If it's 18 teams or 24 teams, look, it's out of your hands. There's nothing you can do. You just have to hope that Connacht progresses as much as they can under Andy.
Yeah, it's exactly it. It's like you said, it's out of our hands. We are just there to make sure we do the best we can and finish off the season well, and hopefully for both wins. So that is the goal. But the European Cup, yeah, like you said, it's out of our hands. We just got to go out there and play.
And just to finish, Bundee, did you manage to get around Connemara at all during the last few months? Did you get to see any of the landscape?
Oh, no. Wasn't allowed to go anywhere with lockdown. No, I stayed within Galway, sports ground back home. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, Bundee Aki, well, we wish you every success with Connacht in Ireland over the next few months. Thanks so much for speaking to Off the Ball Saturday here on News Talk this afternoon.
Thank you very much, Sean. Thank you.